Hello Internet, you're watching NightTalks. I'm your host Stanley, and tonight I'm going to be talking about whether is there a God? One of the most intriguing philosophical questions perhaps every being encounters. So, firstly, I'm not really going to be talking about the relative concept of God, where from the perspective of, let's say, a primitive being, any sufficiently advanced being might be perceived as a God. And that's, well, yes, that happens. However, what interests me is a supreme being, someone who is, let's say, an omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient God, or something like that. And to the point that this being cannot be matched by anything else in existence. Well, this is interesting because from what I know of information theory, it wouldn't be possible for this being to exist if, well, there would be only two possible cases for such a being to exist. Either they would be, let's say, a sum of everything in existence, because of course everything in existence added together has the information to describe everything in existence exactly once. Or they would have to be, if you will, outside of the existence, outside of our universe, perhaps watching it and perhaps even influencing it with their omnipotent powers. However, we as beings inside would view it simply as existence itself, let's say as things that happen, and therefore we wouldn't be able to prove the existence of such an how to call that, of such a supreme being. Well, in that case, why do people bother with it? Because many philosophers and scholars have said that things that cannot be proven are not um, are not to bother discussing about, or something along those lines. And the reason, I think, is if there is a person who perhaps does not believe in anything else than what they've seen, what they've experienced, now there are always some questions. What comes after death? One of the most popular. Or why do certain phenomena happen, such as natural disasters or whatever? Now, of course, this can be explained using physics as consequences of motion of matter and so on. However, there are certain things that are not explained or are extremely complicated to explain. And, well, a person who is in doubt and who is not satisfied with, well, I don't know, and do I need to know? No, I'll just patiently wait until I die and then I'll discover what's after that. Boring. Whereas they will seek out a supreme being who can guide them through life and who can salvage them, if you will, after death. And so they will create a god, and it doesn't matter whether the god exists or not. It will become existent as a belief. And, well, why do these people need the god? If the god is supreme and guides every step of our lives to the point that everything that happens is the will of God, then we would not be able to tell, or rather everything, even what I'm thinking or what I'm saying right now, or that you're listening to this video on the internet, that is the will of God. Therefore, why bother? Even heretics, therefore, if I mention practices of certain major religions, would be the will of God, and therefore why bother? And the explanation is fairly simple, and I discovered this while watching anime called Maria the Virgin Witch. So the explanation would be that someone with a free will does not need worshipping symbols, because they can for themselves act. Because people are actors, I mean, you can change the reality around you, right? They can for themselves act, change their reality, affect what do they experience to the point that it is not the reality that matches their mind, but their mind that matches the reality, because they can affect everything, every single bit of their existence. Well, of course, perhaps not everything, but to the point there the individual actor can, to be on some level satisfied with it. However, a person who does not want to exercise any free will whatsoever will need someone to exercise their free will, a supreme being, perhaps, a higher being, a dictator, whatever you want to call that. If they don't turn to God, they might turn to a lowly, let's say, worship figure such as a dictator or ruler, who will guide every step of their lives in some way so that they do not have to worry and their life is comfortable. And that is why some people need a God. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.